Welcome to video number 2 in Bust Your Inner Critic's video series. In this video, we're going to explore whose voice is your inner critic's. Who does that voice belong to? Where did it come from? The inner critic's original function was to save us from shame and pain. When we were young, when we were children, our parents tried to teach us how to be, how to behave, to be accepted into society, to fit in. And this could sometimes come through verbal criticism, like, don't do that, that's no way to behave, don't cry, don't be too loud, sit down, be still, right? This teaching could also come through non-verbal messages, like giving the look. You know, the look. I think we've all felt that at some point or another. And it can also come through just a stern look or that finger, don't do that. And the child knows what it means. The message to take in is that they did something wrong and that's not a way to behave. So in order for the child to protect themselves of being found less than, a voice develops within the child that would criticize them before their parents or anybody else for that matter can. This voice, the voice of the inner critic, is extremely anxious for the child to be accepted and to be liked by others. And as we grow up, this voice continues to really want us to be accepted and liked in the world. Unfortunately, it doesn't always know when to stop. It tends to grow out of control and maybe even undermine us, undermine our wants, our desires. At this point, the original intent of protecting us is getting lost. One of my clients was terrified of speaking up for herself, which was one of the reasons she came to work with me. She was really afraid of being seen as annoying. She had to renegotiate her contract with her employer and ask for a raise. And she was really afraid that if she did, they would see her as annoying and she would be fired and not keep her contract. In a coaching session, we communicated with her inner critic. And we found out that when she was in 6th grade, her girlfriends told her that she was annoying and that if she didn't stop being annoying, they were not going to be her friends anymore. So ever since, she has stuffed her annoyance to the point that today as an adult, she does not speak up for herself out of fear of being annoying. In this session, we thanked her inner critic for protecting her from losing her friends when she was a child. And we also asked what her inner critic thought of her asking for a raise today. And in this process, her inner critic became an inner ally and supported her in speaking up for herself and renegotiate a contract and ask for a raise. Today, she's no longer afraid to speak up for herself, even though she might come across as annoying. And she did get that raise. I want you to think about some of the more common messages your inner critic is giving you. And think, whose voice does that sound like? Is that your mom's voice or your dad's voice? Or is it one of your own creations? Like that time when you stepped on the heel of one of the most popular people at school and they turned around and shot you the evil eye, and you decided that you were clumsy? Is that voice familiar? Whose voice is that? One of my inner critic's strongest messages is that I don't know enough, and it has my father's voice. When I was growing up, my father's way of protecting me and keeping me safe was to make sure that I had thought of all the possibilities. The message I took on was that I just didn't know enough. And it has led me to fear speaking of anything that I am not 100% certain about. 7 years ago, I would have told you that in order to do what I do today, I would need advanced degrees, lots of credentials and certifications. I know now that this was his way of loving and caring and protecting me. So I no longer fear speaking of things I am not certain about. I also know that he didn't want to raise me to be fearful. He wanted to raise a strong and competent woman. Separating yourself from the message of the inner critic can be simply done by saying, that is what my mother or my father would have said. That voice is not my voice. It's the beginning of the inner critic loosening its grip on you. It's the beginning and the way to joy, to being free from the confines of the inner critic's grip on you. So for the next few days, I want you to practice noticing whose voice that is and separate from it, like saying, that's my father's voice. Oh, look, that's my mother's message. I would love to hear how this is going for you. So email me and let me know. And I will see you in a few days in video number 3.